Welcome to episode 5. In this episode, we'll be replacing the V-Berth roof hatch and patching the hole the wood burner flue came out of. Right, well, we've had quite a change in the weather. It's gone from the thunderstorms, thunder and lightning, hailstones, pouring rain to over 30 degrees for days on end. And it's a bit hot really to be doing this. I'm melting and I haven't even started. So today I think we're just going to scrape back as much of the rubbish around these. Well, this is the hole where the wood burner flue came out of. It's just like a rough hexagonal angle ground hole that somebody put in it. That needs patching. And then this, I mean, it was just a hatch with, you know, rubber between these, I don't know, teak boards. But, you know, it's had it, like the one that was on the lounge, needs to go in a bin. And we're going to put another, you know, tinted roof window in here, not the same as that Houdini one, just another one I found of roughly the same size. And then that will be a window to a V-berth, which I'm planning to put in this area. This whole area was just kind of like boarded off when I bought it. There wasn't anything in there. And we're also going to put a chain locker in here and a windlass and an anchor system, but that'll be a later job. Today we're just going to be trying to clean up this area. I may grind off these mooring bollards as well whilst I'm at it, because all of this is going, they're going to be stainless. Throwing away all the old crap. So yeah. Let's go. Show you what we've got. So that's where the flue came through. It's not even central, look, it's off centre. And now I think the reason for this was because, if you remember, I said in the first video there was a you know, a bathroom on the starboard side with a concrete floor of about 300 kilos. I suspect that made the boat list a bit. So they put the wood burner, which must have been another couple hundred kilos, slightly off centre, so that the boat didn't list significantly more towards the starboard. So, I mean, that's a mess, but yeah, that just needs patching up. I think this is 5mm when I thicknessed it. Used an ultrasonic thickness meter on it. Looks about right. 5mm is the sheet that I've bought that I made the gas bottle box lid out of. So yeah, let's just clean up all this tar. This tar's all melted. Look in the sunshine. Just stood in it. It's completely melted and stuck to my shoe. Don't want this on the down. I can't even imagine trying to use the boat with this around. You only got to stand in it. It ends up all over the paintwork. So yeah, give this a good clean up. Get this old hatch out. Yeah, let's get on. Ugh, disgusting. Ugh, all right. I think we need to go and get the bin. It's disgusting. Right, let's go and get the bin and my air defenders. So this is the new hatch that we're going to be putting in here. So when everything's done inside, this area is going to be, it's going to be, you know, a cabin, very small. It might protrude into the lounge a bit. We're going to sort of make the most of the space that we've got, really. And then in front of that, there's going to be a chain locker. So I'm just trying to decide what the best thing to do here is. I was thinking I might, you know, cut a piece of metal to go in there and fit the hatch where it was. But the hatch needs a hole of 31 centimetres and then probably another 20 mil all around to bolt it down to the deck. But the spacing between these supports, which run all the way across, is only 30 centimetres. So if we leave it there, we've got to cut some of those out. In fact, if we leave it there, we've got to cut both of those out. And I don't really want to do that. I don't mind cutting one, but I don't really want to cut two. So I'm thinking now, maybe we should move the hatch back. Not too much, just a bit. That means we cut this one out and we can put in another support, but we cut this one out. And at the same time, I'm thinking maybe we just cut one big rectangle out here, which takes away this mess, takes away all the rusty surround of that. And then we cut from that 5mm sheet, a flat sheet that will weld into that hole perfectly. So then we'll have, you know, you may see a shape change, you know, when all the paint's on, but I think it's going to be less of a mess to do that than it is to try and patch these holes, cut this out and make this rusty surround good. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I need to chew on it. So we've had a nice little measure up here. Didn't film it because it's just a huge amount of messing about and I can't film everything. So we've measured from the place where the steps were above the deck drains on both sides. We've come forward 5.8 metres on both sides, and we've drawn a line across there, and then we've checked that against the corners of this, and it's exactly the same distance to that line from this corner to that corner. And then we've come across from the middle and drawn a line down the bow to the front, and that incidentally is 35.5 centimetres exactly from the inside of these posts to this line. 35.5 centimetres and 35.5 centimetres from there. That's just purely by chance, so I think we've got it dead right. So it just shows that little water hole slightly off centre, and the hatch was again like slightly off centre. It's like 1 centimetre sort of mispositioned to one side. So we are going to cut this plate out as a complete rectangle. Prep the new hole for it. We're going to move the hatch. We're moving the hatch back so it starts about 6 inches inside from here. So the position will be something like, it will be something like that, which I think is a nice position for it. And that will give us a bit more room for the windlass with the horse pipe going down into the chain locker, and then a bridge which we'll weld up on here for the chain to go along onto this roller, which we're going to modify. I'm going to cut the end off of it and shorten it because I don't want to make the boat too much longer. Move the wheel back, and so it only just pokes over the front. And that'll need to sit about 2 inches off, so hence this sort of bridge we're going to build along here. So we'll figure out how we're going to do that later, but for now I know that I know our measurements. We're dead central to the boat, and this is going to be corrected, and that's going to set us up nicely for all this to be in line, because if I hadn't done that, all of this stuff would be off centre and it just looks strange when it's done. It would annoy me because I'm a bit OCD about stuff like that. I want everything to be in line and properly done. So yeah, really happy with that. I'm going to more permanently mark this now with Tip-X on the dark stuff and a permanent marker on the light. And then the next day, well, it'll be next week now, I'll come out here, cut that out, prep the new piece of steel, and back to the welding. Right, so you can just about see the rectangle now. I'll put some Tip-X around there, and then that's the line up the bow, which you can see a bit better now. Looks pretty good to me. Right, so next week I shall cut this out and weld in the new piece. Okay, so yesterday we cut out this piece that was in the bow. So this is where the old wood burner flue came out of. This is the old hatch. So now we've got a nice rectangle just cut in the bow, and we're going to cut, well, we've cut a sheet of 5mm steel there, and now we need to cut into this sheet a hole for the hatch to go in. So then this is all pre-cut and drilled before we weld it in. And then we just need to weld it in. Right. Might be easier to mark it on this side, I think, because the other side of Fertan, it's just covered in black powder. Let's start again. Now I just need something that's about the same profile as these corners. It's not that. Not really that. Okay. Have a little look what we've done. So, we've marked up the shape of the hatch. So we're going to cut that hole, and then when we've welded that piece in the deck, that will just fit straight in. So we'll cut that and we'll drill the holes to match up with the mounting holes on this. This is different to the other one. these are available with the clamping flanges to clamp up under here, just like that one, but it didn't come with it. It wasn't an option on the eBay listing I ordered it from, and it's from China, and I ended up having to pay import duty and everything on it, so I'm not even gonna try to get those clamps. We're just gonna drill through the plate and screw this directly to, in effect, screw it directly to the deck. But we'll be able to do this with this because we've cut this flat plate. This is still going to be flat in the deck. We'll just bend the deck slightly to match up to it, but it'll still be a flat mounting surface for the hatch. The deck hardly bends in the position this is, so I don't think that'll be a problem. Let's get cutting. I think we need to try this window for size. Yeah, that fits fine. So, yeah, that fits really good. 2 or 3 mil of clearance all the way around again, just to allow us to fine tune it if we feel it needs squaring up once it's in. Probably just put a worn flap disc on there to smooth the cuts and grindings, because they're still a bit sharp around the edge of the hole. Flap disc that. I really don't think we're going to be able to get any welding done today out there. That's thunder and lightning. Horrible. But we'll prep this up. I'm going to then wash it off and re-Fertan it so it's been treated both sides, and then it'll be ready to just weld in, really. That'll just be a nice little job for another day. Now we're just going to put a chamfer on the edge of these so that we get good penetration, because I consider the whole of that bow to be structural. So I want full penetration weld all around this, and we can weld it inside if we have to, but if I groove this out, we shouldn't have to. If I groove this out to about 1.5 mil from the underside, we should be able to fill this with weld all the way through. Right, just have a little look at what we've done today. So this is what we've done. We've chamfered all the way around the edges so that we can get decent penetration when we put that on the top. Chamfer the deck as well, and we need to shape the deck because this is a perfect rectangle. The deck was a bit rough because I was just sort of chopping that piece out, so the cuts on the deck are a bit rough. So we'll clamp this into place when the weather's better, go around it with the cutter and make sure the deck accepts it as an even groove all the way around. Then we will chamfer around the deck and weld this in. So we just fitted the hatch into the section of deck that I've cut. I've drilled the holes through ready for the bolts. I've just drilled 6mm holes through. They're 5mm bolts, so there's a bit of play because they're not going to be exact. Yeah, pretty happy with that. One thing I did notice when I was marking the holes, I put the hatch in the aperture and then marked the holes through these pre-drilled countersunk holes. And they're all over the place. It's a cheap Chinese hatch. I mean, nothing like that Houdini one we put in the top, unfortunately. But yeah, it looks like they've just drilled the holes by eye. I mean, if we look at this one in the corner, that's what, 10mm from the edge of that hinge. And we go to the opposite one, it's like 20mm from the edge of the hinge. And the ones in the centre, you can see they're off centre. And then, if you look at all the others, they're none of them are really in line with one another. They're just all over the place. So it was good I marked them up using the holes rather than sort of measuring anything, because it just wouldn't have worked out. But at least they'll all be covered when that hatch is closed, so we won't have to look at those odd spaced screws. But yeah, that's going to do the job. The seal on it's pretty good. The latch is reasonable. But yeah, go to all this trouble producing this, welding it, anodizing it, and then just sort of drill these holes freehand. Seems a bit strange, but there we are. That's going to be fine. Next stage, weld that in, and then prime it, protect it. So we've got a little break in the rain. I didn't expect this today. It's just the end of the day. I was about to go home, but I thought I might as well come up here for half an hour, just get this in. So I put some primer on that just to stop it going crazy rust until we get to weld it in. I also drilled the holes all around. So it takes M5 screws, but I've put 6mm bolt holes through there. And now we're just tidying up this surround, just getting rid of all this rubbish around the circumference. I should probably put some Fertan on this because there's quite a bit of sort of pitting from rust here. And then what we're going to do, once I've ground this dirt back, we're just going to chamfer this sort of down to the bone, really, right down to the inside edge, because that fits perfectly in there. There's a sort of 1mm gap down the ends. There's no gap down the sides. So if we cut it right back to the absolute bottom of this piece, then we'll get full weld all the way through. So let's get on. pretty good. Let's have a little look at that. It's pretty neat. Grooved all down the sides so we can get that welding right down to the root. A little mistake there, we'll fill up. Looking good. So I think we'll just Fertan this now, and then tomorrow that will be, you know, ready to proceed if we can weld it. As soon as this weather changes, we'll weld it. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Right, nice little break in the clouds. So last night I put some Fertan around this, and we're just going to clean the Fertan up, ready to weld this patch in. Right, the wind's blowing like crazy, so I don't know how much of this we're going to be able to do. We're certainly going to give it a go though, because we've got a bit of sunshine. I don't know how long it's here to stay. I'm out tomorrow and I need to upload this Friday, so let's do our best. Front bit's going to be a bit difficult because one of those cross members comes right up to the edge here, so I can't put a clamp on this. So not entirely sure what I'm going to do. I need to get the front level and then pull the sides down to sort of match the curve of the deck. It's not going to be particularly easy with 5mm plate at the back. It's basically flat, so we're not going to have that problem at the back, but yeah, at the front it's going to be a bit tricky. Right, I think what I might do is spot the back in so I can get rid of these clamps. Get it into position all around. We'll spot the back in to get rid of the clamps. That'll then hold the rest of it into position so we can just deal with the level here. Let's get this thing welded. Still getting a bit of wind blowing the gas away. That's what all these bubbles are. I'm going to have to fill those in, but I don't want too many of them because it's a pain. Right, because this is a real fiddle, I'm just going to carry on welding off camera. We'll come back when I finish this, then we'll grind up. Okay, so I managed to get around this with the weld. It's not very pretty at all. There's some good welds, there's a lot of rubbish here. This is where the wind was just blowing my gas away. All these holes, filled a few holes in. But there's a lot, I just can't see it at the moment. So what we need to do is just brush it off, grind it back, and then we're going to have to fill in with weld where the holes are. But most of this I think is good. I think most of this will grind back just fine, but there will be a lot of holes. I'm not gonna lose. I fought for my life, I made my own rules. Yeah. I walk in the dark, I stand in the shadows. I'm a mystery to some, and a saint to others. Oh, Lord, I'm the one that you should fear. I'm the one who will bring you tears, I'm the one you think you can depend on. I'm the one until your money's gone. Till your money's gone. Till your money's gone. I'm your dealer. Till your money's gone. I'm your dealer. Till your money's gone. I'm your dealer. Let's have a little look at that. So, there, we've tidied that up. And that's like a lot of that is the pitting that was in the sheet. It was less pitted down this end. I don't know whether there was a new piece of steel put in or it was just better protected or something, but the pitting at the front was pretty rough. It sort of goes to about there where the pitting was. Anyway, so ground that back, that's nice and smooth. I'm just going to put some grey primer on that now and hopefully slot the hatch in and screw it down. Okay, so that's what we've ended up with. It's pretty flat to the deck, quite happy with that. Paint's just to protect it until we come to do the final finish, so it doesn't matter that it's got a load of dust and rubbish in it. That'll all be sorted out later on when we scour the entire bow to paint the whole thing. But this is just to stop it all rusting and getting a lot worse whilst we're working to that point. Okay, let's get that hatching. Once again, we're just using this Parkside W seal, this scrap seal. God, it's so bad. And we'll, Sikaflex this in like the others once we do the final fix. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, we screwed the nuts on the inside. Now we just close it down. Ah, beautiful. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.